What's good, YouTube? It's calsoscoped. We're back in another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a De'Aaron Fox jersey swap tutorial, right? So this is going to be like my third jersey swap tutorial on the page. But as we know, as you design more and more, you start getting more in tune with the things that you're doing and just better methods overall and just better things to say during the jersey swap. So we're going to be changing it to the yellow Indiana Pacers jersey. And in this, I want to kind of just take the whole jersey and kind of put it on there. We might have to do a lot of warping. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll have to see. But as far as how we're gonna start off with the edit, we're gonna just mask out De'Aaron Fox with the pen tool, which is shortcut P. And with the pen tool, you can just really go around wherever you want. You can curve it if you hold down the mouse and drag it around. You can curve it in other which ways. Yeah, see how I'm just curving it around? If you hold it down and just curve it like that. But for right now, I'm gonna mask out De'Aaron Fox really quick, and after that, I'll be right back. Okay, so once you guys have your whole player masked out, like you see right here, if I press Q on the keyboard, I can really just see what I have masked out. You're gonna notice that you're gonna have this part is still there because you're gonna have some gaps in between your mask or your pen, whatever you want to call it at that point. And the way that you're going to get rid of some of these gaps is simply by just doing the same thing you were doing. You're just going to go along on the points with your pen tool, you know, selecting pretty carefully where you want to put your points. Control Z is always to undo, and then you're going to connect them. Now you're going to right click and press make selection, but right down here you're going to press subtract from the selection. So that's a quick tip for you guys if you get stuck on how you're going to get rid of some of the parts that you don't want, or if you just really don't want to include some of the parts, right? Because sometimes you only want to do like half of the body or something like that and you overcommitted. So you're just gonna right click, make selection, and you're gonna, instead of add to selection, you're gonna go subtract from selection. All right, so I'm gonna do that for just the rest of this, and then we'll get on to the next part. Alright, so I got to this point now, and how I got the background to be transparent is pretty much just clicking on the layer mask icon. It's the rectangle with the circle in the middle. If you want to just disable the layer mask, it'll be right there, and then you can put it back on. I just clicked the rectangle with the circle in the middle to get the transparent background because I already have my mask. Alright, so there wasn't anything in particular really that we needed to do. If we wanted to go into this diagram right here, we could double click on the layer mask. Layer mask is always black and then white reveals. So let's go, double click, and then we could go to feather. And on this, we don't really need to feather the hair out, but that's like really one of the things I would only do to most of my designs. Once I do my selection, I just feather out the hair. But since his hair is pretty good right there, it's just like fine because it's a low cut. I just would press decontaminate colors, and then I'd put the amount of decontamination on colors to like 82. I don't really mess around with these too much, and when my view is on, I usually put it on overlay, and then I just put it to OK. So now you're gonna have two layers underneath, and you're always gonna want to keep a separate layer of your background that you're gonna want to have just for like backup. So just call that like background or something. And now let's just do the same thing of masking. We're gonna use the pen tool once again, but this time I'm just gonna mask out. I'm gonna mask out the jersey separate from the shorts, just in case we need to move around the shorts more than the jersey. And I think that'll just be a better way of going about it than just masking it out altogether. So I'm gonna go in with the pen tool once again, like I had just on the previous mask of De'Aaron Fox. So you guys see what I'm doing right here. I'm just gonna go through this and then get right back to you guys. Just gonna mask this out real quick, and then we'll be back. Alright, so now I have both the shorts and the jersey masked out. As you can see, top layer is shorts, or bottom layer is shorts, top layer is jersey. So now we're gonna start into the process of moving these on to the original canvas that we're gonna be working off of. And with this canvas, I want to work off of this one. So what I'm gonna do first though is turn it into a 4:5 ratio. If you guys do not know, Instagram is 4:5 for the max ratio, and that's what I usually post on. So I'm gonna go 4:5 for my ratio here up here. So you just press C on your keyboard, and then you're gonna go up to your crop ratio, and you can just press 4 right here, and you're gonna put in 5. All right, and then you're gonna hit that check mark, or you can press enter when you're done. I usually hit the check mark. And then I'm gonna make my image size down to 1080 because 1080 is like max Instagram size. So it's gonna be a 1080 by around 1350 for the height. It might be like 1351. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It does. So just letting you guys know that. But yeah. All right. So that's what we're gonna do there. And then let's get our Whoops, that's the wrong picture. Those are for backups for later if we need them. So I'm gonna press Control. I'm gonna select this one, and then I'm gonna select that one. If you hold down Control, you can select 2 at once or multiple at once. All right. So there's that right for right now, and we can just separate these for right now. All right. What I like to do is when I know it's a good mask, I can just put it into a smart object. So I convert it to a smart object off rip. And then I'm just going to get into the transformation. So the first thing I'm going to do is resize it. I know it's going to be a little bit smaller. And then I'm just going to drag it over onto what looks kind of just like similar. And then I'll put the opacity down as well so I can just see underneath and start kind of lining everything up, right? So you just want to line everything up and just start kind of seeing what's going on within the picture. So once you start lining everything up, you can also right click and you're going to hit warp. And this is the warp tool. You can just start warping your design to what looks good to you. You just want to match everything up really. And really important thing that you want to do when you're doing jersey swaps in total, just swapping the actual whole jersey, is you want to make points. So you're gonna hold down Alt on your keyboard. If you're on a Mac, it will be Command. You hold down Alt and you can actually just pick some points on here that you can just start warping towards, right? So you see that point right there. If I hold down Alt, click a point, I can just warp things so it just like goes more organically with the photo that you're using. So that's a quick tool to be definitely trying to utilize. And right now I'm just gonna lock in and try to get all this stuff to look very similar to each other. I do notice when I put the opacity up here, TJ Warren's head had cut off some of the jersey, but I'm not worried about that because we can definitely fix that. But for right now, I'm gonna focus on getting the jersey just to look really good, and let's just go and do that process. I think I'm just gonna do a speed run of it so you guys can really see what I'm doing as I work through this process. But yeah, let's lock in and let's do that, then I'll be back. Okay, so for the top of the jersey, this part I know it's down a little bit, so I'm gonna go into filter, liquify, and I'm gonna just drop this down just a little bit. And the way I'm gonna do that is just using my layer 0 copy. Let's see, one sec. Layer 0 copy, and then I'm just gonna drag this down. I'm gonna use the forward warp tool, and I can just see a little bit beyond that, so I'm just gonna drag this down right down to there where you see his shirt. So you can just see his shirt, and I'm just really matching in the jersey with everything that's going on beneath that. That's what you want to do on jersey swap. Just match everything and make everything look realistic, and just match everything up very well. So you can also use the bracket keys to make this brush size smaller or wider, up to you. And you see how I'm just going in very, very precisely, trying to make everything just look very good and just whole. Alright, so then I think that's gonna look good right there, and those are the changes that we made. So that's for the jersey. Now on the shorts, I'm not gonna do the speed art because I don't want this video to be like super long, but I want to give you guys a good in-depth tutorial. But after I do the shorts, I'm gonna come back. All right, so let's do that, and then I'm gonna get back. All right, so now we got the jersey for the most part, right? So the next step that I'm gonna take is figuring out how to get this on there. But before we do that, I want to mask out some of the parts that we're not gonna need. Like this is over his eye because of the curvature of the jersey from the OG pick, and then this the basketball should be over that. So let's just do that quickly. To do this, all I'm going to do is add a layer mask on, so hitting that rectangle with the circle in the middle, and then with the layer mask I'm going to drop the opacity down so I can just see the shape of the basketball. And then I'm going to just use my pen tool and curve around this part right here, and then for the upwards part I'm going to do the same thing with the jersey, and then just make everything look more unison and more attached to the player that we're doing the swap on. So after I'm done with this, I'll be right back, and then after that we'll work on getting this part of the jersey more acquainted. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so the next step is done. I got rid of the places that I needed to get rid of, just like the basketball overlaying that, and then the jersey overlaying the face. And to do this part, what you could do is take a sample from this side of the jersey and then place it over there and then work on the color correction. But since this has that stripe right there, I didn't really want to mess around with it too much and get confused and just start confusing myself. So I got some other pictures of TJ Warren that we're going to be able to utilize. I think I'm going to use this picture right here, and simply what I'm going to do is mask out just this side that we're going to be having to use on the jersey. So I'm going to mask this out, and then we're going to place it onto our design, and we'll make sure that we warp it so that it looks really good, along with whatever else we have on there already, so it just doesn't look out of line. And for some reason my tool has been acting up kind of funny, my pen tool, so I've been having to invert my mask. If you ever have to do that, it's just shift control and I to invert your selection. If you have to do that, I don't know why my keyboard's been acting weird, guys. I do not know. But so we got that in there now, and let's just turn it a little bit. So we're only gonna need like this portion, right? So all we need to do is right click, make it a smart object so that our transform tool isn't so large around it. And then I'm gonna resize, and I'm gonna drop the opacity down, and I'm just trying to try to align everything with how it would be. So let's do that. Actually, I'm not gonna align it with the eye inside of there that I've been doing. I'm just gonna try to align it with what's right here. Let's see. Well, let's just align it with what's right here, right? So here we go. Let's get in there. We put our opacity back on. See, this part's swooping out, but I'm really only gonna need this part that's cutting off. That's the main focus of this right now. So what I'm gonna do is go into liquify, and then I'm gonna do the same type of principle I did before. I'm gonna use Fox as the underlying backdrop layer, and I'm just gonna make it look realistic. That's all you want to do on Jersey Soft. Just make everything look realistic and just like everything fits. Alright, so there we go. Now our only problem is like this is way too yellow compared to that yellow, and I do like this yellow, so I don't want to change the other jersey color. So what we're gonna do is add a hue and saturation layer. It's a half circle right here. Add that hue and saturation, and then I'm gonna clip it to it. So you can right click and make a clipping mask, or you can hold down Alt or Command if you're on Mac and then make a clipping mask. It's up to you. And then I'm going to play around with my hue and saturation, and that looks like it's going to be pretty fit to what's going on. But we're going to have to kind of just CC this a lot, color correct this a lot. But you'll get comfortable doing it. Right now I'm going to add a layer mask to, I'm just going to call this jersey extra piece, because we need to add this extra piece, right? I'm gonna make a layer mask on here, and I'm gonna use my soft brush right here, the one that's kind of just blurred out a little bit, and I'm gonna drop my flow down and start just not deleting, but getting rid of this. Like, we don't need all this stuff. All we really need is that part up top. Like I said, we don't really need anything else on there. So let's just get rid of this stuff. Want to blend in the sides here. See, you might have to take a little bit of time on this like I'm doing. So I'm gonna blend in the sides, and then I'm just gonna I'll be right back once I blend in the sides, because this can get a little bit tricky and take a little bit of time. Like I said, I don't want to have the video be too long, so I'll be right back. Alright, so here we go. I got the top part of this jersey onto there, pretty clean. You see, I just used my soft brush and blended at the bottom. I used my soft brush and blended at the bottom so I could really just blend it into the jersey that we had put on top of for original. So the last thing that we're gonna need to do is change the number, and we're gonna need to change the sleeves. See how these sleeves are really dark right now? They don't really match the brightness of this jersey, and I want the sleeves to pop out a little bit more. So this is a quick little tip to help you guys a lot. So you're gonna use your hue and saturation. We're gonna clip it to Fox, right? And then you're gonna add a channel mixer on as well. Whoops, you're gonna add a channel mixer layer on as well, and you're gonna clip it to Fox. But on these two layers, you're gonna press Control I to invert the mask. So press Control I on the hue and saturation, Control I on the channel mixer. Now with the hue and saturation, drop that down to -100, because what we're gonna do is make these brighter. So if you drop it down to -100, you're gonna bring out like more of the dull colors, so that all that gray and stuff isn't there. So I'm just gonna show you guys. So painting on white is gonna bring out the colors, right? So you're gonna paint on white, and that brings out your colors. Just makes it more of a white color at first. And then the thing that the channel mixer is gonna do, if we replace the mask, just hold down Alt or Command, then you're gonna drag your mask into the one that you want to do. Channel mixer can make your whites like pop out better, right? So like that. So I'm gonna go and do that. What I'm gonna do though, instead of just doing it like willy-nilly, I'm gonna make selections with the pen tool once again of all the white gear that's on him, even the t-shirt that I want to make pop out more. And once I do that, I'll be right back. So make sure you guys, if you want to make things pop out more with like the white, because a lot of times jerseys have a lot of white on them, or even if you just want to pop out some of the extra colors, make sure you're using the pen tool. And you can even feather things. So if you were to go to select and then you would modify, I don't know why the modify is not on there, but it'll be in this tab, modify. You'll be able to click it and then go down to feather out your selections. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, we have successfully gotten our white highlights that we want to be on there. I mean, I'm not very good about naming my layers. I hope you guys name your layers a lot better than me, but I'll just name that white right now. White accessories, I guess, right? So we'll name it right accessories. And then last step that we need to do is change his jersey number. And my thought was like, if De'Aaron Fox got traded to Indiana Pacers, like, which would honestly be dope in my opinion, but I feel like he'd get traded for like guard, obviously. So probably like someone like Aaron Holiday, or not obviously, but maybe if they. All right, we're getting off topic. All right, so let's get our number 3, because Aaron Holiday's number 3, but we have Miles Turner right here. But what I'm gonna do on here is, you could just go and select this whole thing around, right? So if I selected this whole thing around, and then I press Control J to just make a new duplicate copy, the thing that you would have to do when you put on a new jersey is just make a blending option, and you'd blend out that yellow, and you just play around with the sliders on here. But I want to be more precise and just give you guys a more precise view of a jersey swap. So right now I'm just going to use the pen tool and just pen this 3 out real quick. Alright, so I got my 3 all masked out. I'm going to copy this, and let's go on to the De'Aaron Fox file. And right here, all we need to do is kind of just resize it a little bit. I'm going to right click and make it into a smart object. Then I'm going to resize it a little bit. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to follow the same pattern that the one has. And how I'm going to do this is actually more simple than it seems. I got a little bit confused on how I did this at first, but here we go. Okay, so you're going to get the 3. You're going to go into your liquefy tab. And on that liquefy tab, you're going to only uncover the jersey. So now you have the jersey layer, and all you need to do to make this 3 look more organic is you're gonna follow all these kind of like ripples that you see on the 1, and you want to just follow the curvature of the 1, but just with the 3. So it's just a little bit different, right? So not too hard. You're just gonna follow this curvature. I'm just following right along here. I'm following what I see. So just follow what you see, and you'll be all set. And then that'll be our last step on this, besides color correction and stuff, but you guys can do that. And I also have color correction videos if you guys want to check those out in the tutorials. Right, so it'll be something like that, maybe a little bit more curve on this part, and then it's going to be placed over just like that, just a little bit smaller though. So something right there. And then for this part of the jersey, I'm going to make a duplicate. So I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to make it actually red. I'm just going to hide it, and I'm going to rasterize this one, and I'm just going to rasterize and fill in this part where the 1 is. So I'm going to make a selection just with the lasso tool. L is a shortcut for the lasso tool, just the rough lasso tool, not even the polygonal. And I'm making a rough selection. Then I'm going to press Shift F5 on my keyboard, and I'm going to fill it content aware. So filled it content aware, You see there's a little bit of excess stuff on here. You're gonna go to your brush tool B and then right click, hold down, and go to the mixer brush tool. And then you're gonna press Alt to make a selection of the content that's just around it, the data that's around it. Click that. Alt and it's Command on Mac, and then you're just gonna brush in some of the spots. You can mess around with your mix, your load, your flow. I'm gonna drop the flow and the wet down because I see that it's kind of doing a lot right now, and I don't even need it to be that extra right now. Calm it down, all right, and then just fill in those spots, and let's just move in the 3 right here. Yep, let's move the 3 down. Just gonna warp it a little bit, and there we go, guys. That's our jersey swap right there. If we were to bring our background back, you see it just looks clean. Okay, this is I show you guys clean ways to do things. Okay, on this for this part, you can kind of blend some of that out as well. So go back to your soft brush. Where is our soft brush at? You're gonna need to pick up on some of the parts of your jersey that need a little bit of extra cleaning up, and then you're gonna pick up on some parts that need some color treatment, right? So pretty much for this, I'm feeling pretty confident. On the insides of on the insides of the jersey though, like say for the shorts and things like that, you can just make a duplicate layer, and then let's see, just delete your layer mask, just have your normal layer, and then I'm just gonna mask out some spots that I feel should be more blue. Like obviously it's the king, so it was black and purple. I feel like the insides are gonna be more yellowish, like dark yellow, right over here and right over here. Like these are just like little things that you're gonna want to do when you're done with the swap, right? You want to make sure everything just looks like more uniform and more just better overall. There's no real words you need to say. It's just better overall. So I'm gonna slide that up to the top for right now, and then I'm gonna colorize it. Drop it to that orange. We're trying to get that yellow, that orangey yellow, and then mess around with your levels and curves and just make it dark, but have that yellow orangey tint, right? And you're just gonna go around and do that pretty much on anything that you see needs any color correction. And once I do that, I'll be back with pretty much my final of this. Alright you guys, so I've cleaned everything up, and here we go. This is after, and this is the before. So this is before to after the swap, right? Not too bad, man, not too bad. Make sure you guys drop a like if this helped you guys out. I think this was pretty in-depth. I know there were a couple parts that were kind of confusing just because of the way I was wording things and things like that, but there was a lot going on in this, so I tried to cram as much information into this as possible without it being like an hour long or anything like that. So make sure you guys drop a like if this helped you guys out. Make sure you sub up to the channel, and just comment down below what you want to see next from me, guys. So until next time, it's been calsoscoped. Make sure you guys stay scoped, man. Peace.